All right, I want to talk a little bit more about the political situation and specifically about the election. And I bring this up because I just read an article that Goldman Sachs is telling everybody it's time to prepare. The election's coming near. It is time to prepare, and they're very concerned that investors are not adequately prepared for what might happen in the election. First of all, we don't know what's going to happen, okay? Somebody has to be elected first, and then that person has to be sworn in as president, and then that person has to propose whatever various policies that person wants to propose, and those policies have to be voted on by Congress. So there's a whole process, and it's not like it happens in the dark somewhere. We get to see that. I've said many, many times, this is an easy game because the powers that be tell you what they're going to do. There's no reason to try to guess. I mean, if you want to guess, go play craps in Vegas. I don't guess. I endeavor to know. Okay, there's a difference. All right, but anyway. And by the way, Goldman Sachs, I've gone after Goldman Sachs in the past because, and I think, some of you now are starting to see, as I've pointed out with these hedge fund losers, you're starting to see that Goldman Sachs, this is the emperor's got no clothes, okay? Goldman Sachs makes a lot of money, and it's a Wall Street titan of a firm because, as a market maker, Goldman Sachs builds in huge commissions or spreads in the deals or the market making activity it does for its clients. And it has, big clients, large multinational corporations, wealthy people, whatever. I don't know if those entities want to deal with Goldman Sachs, fine. Okay. But Goldman Sachs makes most of its money not in trading like you and I do, where we have to figure out what's going on and make a bet, but rather in being a market maker where it builds in a profit in their deals. I mean, we've seen this exposed. And by the way, that's even being a little bit too kind to Goldman Sachs, because how many times in the past eight years or so since the financial crisis has it been exposed that Goldman Sachs engaged in fraud? Admittedly, it's not like, what, you're accusing us? No, they're like, yeah, we did it, and they write a check, they pay a fine, and it's something that if you or I had been involved in that, even to a tiny degree, we'd probably be in jail by now. But the big financial firms and JP Morgan, they get away with that all the time. So their business model is fraud, basically, or inside information, or market making, where they're able to build in huge profits for themselves. Now, in outright trading, in their forecasts and their recommendations, and this is why I like to continue to bring this up. For you guys out there who are maybe novices to investing or trading, it's important that you understand not so much that the game is rigged, we know that, but we can still beat them, and we do beat them. I beat them anyway. But it's important for you to not, kind of look at some entity, some market participant in some kind of awe, like, oh, look at Goldman Sachs. If you're going to look at them in awe, well, the awe should come from the fact that they get away with the stuff they get away with and not have criminal repercussions attached to that. Anyway, so their guy, David Kostin, and I maybe have mentioned this guy in the past, or I've written about him on my blog, market strategist, I guess, I don't know, saying you got to be prepared, folks. You got to be prepared. Prepared for what? I don't know. But here's what he said you have to be prepared for. You ready for this? You got to be prepared for uncertainty. Whoa! That never happens, right? You got to be prepared for uncertainty. That never happens. Oh my God. You got to be investing in companies that have big exposure to government spending. Whoa! Like only now? I mean, that's always been true. The government can write checks in any amount. I mean, the defense industry, we've seen the wealth of the defense industry, the profits of the defense industry. It always cracks me up too that people say that, well, the government can't create wealth. Well, it's created quite a bit of wealth for stockholders in the defense industry and for those firms like Boeing and all those Northrop and all those other firms, right? So we have to prepare for uncertainty. We have to prepare. We have to invest in stocks that have exposure, or companies that have exposure to government spending. Basically, the whole economy has exposure to government spending, as I have exposed in my videos many times. 4.4, 4.5 trillion annually, and I've shown that about 50% of that spending flows right to the bottom line of corporations. That goes to corporate profits, about 2 trillion, 2.2 trillion before tax, 1.6, 1.8 trillion after tax. It flows to corporations. It's very when the government spending goes up, corporate profits goes up. It's easy to forecast the trend in corporate profits just by looking at government spending. There was one other thing mentioned in the thing that we got to get ready for, but I don't think it's very important. I think you see what I'm trying to say here, that once again they're out with some kind of ridiculous, nonsensical thing. But here's the main point that I want to make, and I made it now in the past few videos that I just put out. And basically, we don't know, and I just said it at the beginning of this video. The only thing you have to prepare for is the thing that we, as SEAL Team 6 operators, is the thing we always prepare for, is that, and understanding the knowledge that the zombies are going to be wrong every time. Okay? They've already framed the whole entire debate, discussion, or election as Hillary good, Trump bad. Well, we don't know that. That's their framing. That's how they're going to behave. And a lot of this, what we do is part-time psychologists. All right, we have to understand the behavior of others, because that's how, when we know what they're going to do, we could take advantage of that. We could be waiting for them to cut their heads off and take their money. All right, so they framed it Hillary good, Trump bad. Now we don't know. We don't know what either of them really are going to end up doing. So it's just to say you got to get prepared. You only get prepared in the sense that we're sitting like crouching tigers, waiting for our prey to make a move. Of course, we have the understanding, the equipment, to take advantage of whatever it is they do, which is, 99.9% of the time it's going to be wrong. And the 0.1% of the time that they get it right, it's going to be out of sheer luck. And sometimes people get lucky. Sometimes people get lucky. That happens to the zombies sometimes. But we still could kill them. We still could kill them. All right, so that's the thing. And that's the thing you have to keep in mind. And, sometimes it's hard. For those of you who are beginners, it's hard because you are bombarded by the media and the propaganda and the pundits and the know-nothings that are out there stating, very matter-of-factly and with conviction, as if they know what the hell they're talking about. They don't. And if you listen to it, if you allow yourself to listen to it, you can get swayed by it very easily. That's why you have to listening to what I say here. All right, that's it for this video. Remember, if you do not have MMT Trader, you can go sign up, get the 30-day free trial. Go to pitbulleconomics.com, click on the tab that says products. You get the free trial. You can get all the back issues. You get this week's issue, and it's a great read. See you later. Bye-bye.